Hello everyone, this is CJ Novo 992 and today we're back for another brand new video. A brand new video that is once again posted past midnight, except unlike last Tuesday while I was smiling from ear to ear, there's going to be a fluctuation in the smiles because that's exactly what we got from that game of football. That at the end of the day, if I take my heart out of it and I just think with this, is a 2-2 result fair? Yes, it probably is based on how both teams played and the chances created, etc, etc. But I didn't think with this all the time, people. I like to think with this, and when I put that back there, the way the game unfolded, it genuinely feels quite fair on the ticker, especially the way we were undone once again by frickin' corners. Genuinely, I'm going to start a petition to either take them out the game, or can we, in between the rondos and the nutmegs and the having fun, can we just have one training session defending set piece? That's all I'm asking, because in every single game we gift opportunities, and when you want to reach the tip of the top at this level, you can't afford to give one, never mind two, ladies and gentlemen. So it's a mixture of emotions this afternoon, because there was genuine moments of sheer quality from this Rangers team mixed with sheer calamity at the back, and that's what we came to expect so far this season. So let's dive in and talk about Rangers 2, PSV 2. And again, it's not the worst result in the world. It probably feels a wee bit harsher the way it unfolded, but when you sit back and look at it, the tie, is in the balance. It's 2-2. There's no such thing as away goals anymore. We go for one more game, all or nothing, to make the Champions League group stages, and we do that against a team that's conceded in every single game that they've played this season and shipped 2 goals to Monaco in the last round. Can it be done? Aye. Will it be? We'll find out, but I'm certainly not going to be sitting here raging that we didn't go ahead and win the tie in the first leg. But was there ever going to be a scenario that we'd have this wrapped up the night and sent to him so we could chill out next week? No, people. PSV are a very, very good side. It's always going to go down to the nitty gritty, and that's the way I think it's going to go next week. And as I said during the intro, people, is the 2-2 result fair? Yes, it is, despite my issues, and the longer you watch today's video, you'll see I do have a couple of issues, not only with the set piece defending, but I think the manager got it wrong with his substitutions, and we'll go into that in a bit more detail. Let's transition deep into the game recap, and see how it all unfolded. Because the starting 11 was pretty much what we expected and broke down in yesterday's preview video. I expected Barisic, I expected Mr. Sands, and again I expected a defensive head in the middle of the park rather than being as gun-ho as we were the last time, and that brought in Stephen Davis. And I know I say this every single time and people saying I need to let it go and everything like that. I love this guy. I just genuinely think he's quality, and if I had one wish and I couldn't wish for more wishes, I'd wish that he was 10 years frickin' younger, because you look at how he plays football and honestly, it's beautiful. He's just the orchestrator of everything, and that was my biggest takeaway from not only the opening 15 minutes, what we're discussing now, but pretty much to the second he went off the park. He was just pulling the strings and adding the quality, especially when we needed it. Because despite De Jong getting an early opportunity just 3 minutes into the game that he should have done better, I think it would have been given as offside anyway, so we're not going to go into that with too much detail. He cuts inside Barisic, puts over the bar, but for me, it's offside, so VAR would have ruled that one out. So we go 20 minutes into the game, some nice passage of play, but the first again shot on target for Rangers was in the 23rd minute, where Stephen Davis reacts, identifies the danger quickly, nips in, whips the ball out to Tillman, whose first touch is good, his second shot isn't up to the standard we've seen so far from Big Tillman, and it's easily saved by Butterfingers McGee. But after a balanced first 20 minutes, that first shot on target seemed to spark us into life, because not only was the crowd rocking, we started to rock on the park, because over the next 10 minutes it was us getting a flurry of crosses in the box, nearlies and maybes, and we even nearly had a penalty kick as well, where it just shows you where your luck is right now, because the corner comes in, Big Goldie wins the header, it hits here, but it's the old shirt level now that gets changed. I don't know, the rule changes all the time. But a couple inches down and it would have been a different story, but that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. So no penalty to Rangers just yet in the overall tie. But again, it was us looking good with the ball, and a lot of it was Davis, Lawrence and Tillman. Nice interquick passes, playing quickly and getting us fricking gone. But just as we were really growing into the game, it wasn't to say that PSV was offering nothing, because a couple of times he put in a couple of dangerous crosses. Goldson got his head on 2 and James Sands got a really good header on 1. But eventually, people, despite a very promising first half from Rangers Football Club, out trots the ball for a corner in. We had 2 previously, one where Tillman does very well getting away. He's now in the Joe Aribo role, or the Morelos role, when he's on attacking the front post. He does well with that one. Next one comes, he misses it, but thankfully McLaughlin switched on and he grabs the ball. And then the third time, isn't he lucky, troops, as we do what we've been doing all season, pretty much since we've switched from a man-to-man with someone on the post to this zonal marking analytics garbage that we do now, where we just have people in zones and everything like that, nobody on the post. The ball comes in, it's missed. I think Tillman misses it at the front post. The ball comes in. Goldson's expecting it to get headed away. It bounces off his forehead. It hits off the back of another player. It drops to the number 6, I believe it was, for PSV, or that's at least where he was playing in. He ends up shanking it. If you go back and look at it, I think he mishits it, but it ends up going like this and curling into the top bin. You can kind of see by his face he wasn't meaning to put it there, but again, the Robbie de Green just doesn't go in our favour, especially from set pieces. But again, I just think it's shambolic, people. We want to make the Champions League. Why are we defending set pieces like a Sunday League one? But what I love about this team, ladies and gentlemen, and especially in European football, we are never, ever, ever going down without a fight. Because again, at that level, against that level of opposition, getting stung like that, it could just kill the vibe. But the crowd responded, and thankfully, so did the players, because within 60 seconds, we had the ball in the hands of Butterfingers McGee once again, as John Lundstrom flicked the ball in, and the goalie this time keeps the ball. But we kept the pressure on, and we kept being relentless, and we were going after them. And Lawrence here is brilliant. Davis here is scrumdiddlyumptious. Honestly, again, I say it all the time, but Augustus Galut would be all air this frickin' pass, because the ball goes to him. The touch on the ball, man, to weight it on a sixpence, genuinely like that. And Tavernier matches it, great run by him. And then he picks out, he doesn't put it in an area, he picks out our man Cholak. And what a finish for the big Croatian, who again, I've sat here and been lambasted each and every single week for saying this guy's the best finisher at our football club. And I mean it, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that finish. That is the ultimate penalty box striker, and that's something we've not had in donkeys, ladies and gentlemen. And thank God for the big man, because that's not even a half chance, let's be honest about that. But it made it look like he's bread and butter. And I love the big man. That's his 4th goal in 4 frickin' matches. Shout out to all his frickin' haters. And I absolutely loved that moment of quality, and that's Champions League worthy. See that goal and the build-up playing around, that there deserves to be it. Your set piece defending doesn't deserve to be it, but that there is what we are capable of, and that's where we want to be reaching at a more consistent level. But Cholak does enough to get us back in at 1-1, and despite a couple wee nearlies in the last minute or two, we go into half-time pretty happy and content, considering the way we dropped in with 10 minutes to go, 1-0 behind. So it was all about the response now. Who would take the advantage? Well, overall, it was definitely PSV. Let's not beat her in the bush and say that, but it didn't look like that in the opening 10 minutes in the first half, because we started out very, very strong. Tavernier with a great little ball in behind after a great switch. I think it's Goldson picks out Tavernier on the right hand side, who brings it down. We ball out to the wide right of the penalty box, but Cholak, brilliant shot, low and hard across the goalkeeper, forces the save, but no one's gambled for a rebound or anything. Everyone's flat-footed apart from big Cholak, so that was a nearly that PSV looked at and went, you know what, I'll take a wee bit of that, because just a minute or two later they have their own nearly, and they really should have scored. De Jong actually peels away, because for me, I thought Goldson had him in his back pocket for the majority of the game. De Jong even ended up getting booked because he couldn't handle Goldson's physicality, and we talked about that in yesterday's preview video. But if you watch it, he peels away for Goldson and goes on to Sands, and he gets there, he flicks the header on, it drops to Sabari. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, apologies if it isn't. It nips in between the defenders. I think he ends up nutmegging Goldson and getting beyond Barisic defensively, but thankfully knocks it just wide. So there was about 60 seconds in that, nearly for us and a major opportunity for them. After that opportunity where they rolled it wide, for me, it was our worst spell in the game. For the next 10 minutes, we looked really rocked and very nervous on the ball. Nothing was sticking, and it was nearlies for PSV. Again, a shot getting blasted over the bar when he should do better after Barisic gets sucked inside. That leaves a massive gap. They cut inside, but thankfully, again, we get away with it. And like I said, it wasn't looking pretty at this point, but what I love about Mr. Tillman, who I never thought had the best game this afternoon, but in the 67th minute, you can't undermine how important this turn and run is, because again, we can't get the ball. It's coming constantly. Everyone's bouncing off until Davis finds Tillman, and Tillman half turns it and just drives us up the frickin' park. He just gets going on his bike, he beats one, and then he carries away. Unfortunately, he doesn't end up getting the end result that maybe we all wanted, but it's at least a shot on target, and again, it gets us up the park, and it gets the opposition running the other way. And the game genuinely changed like that, because we got a bit of confidence on the ball again, and we end up winning a free kick from 40 yards out here, ladies and gentlemen. And I don't know about yous, but when I saw the moment happening, everything like you could see Scott Wright warming up and everything like that, and I was going, all right, what's happening here then? I don't know what's happening. I'm feeling unsafe right now. I'm spinning a wee bit, but the free kick was coming, and Lawrence tells, I think it's Barisic, or maybe even it's Tavernier, sorry if I can't remember the exact, but he tells somebody to go away, and he puts the ball down, takes a 5-step, and gives it the wee chest out, and I go, he's hitting this here. He's hitting this, and instead of maybe a normal reaction to someone hitting a shot from 40 yards out, which would be, what are we doing? Put the ball in the box. I'm actually excited, people, because it's been a long time since we've had someone with the cojones to try that, especially on this surface, because again, we've not really touched on it, but the goalkeeper was spilling crosses, things he should be catching, so we go, right, just bounce it and see what happens. But again, the way he hits it is going straight at the goalkeeper. I'm like, damn it. But again, it bounces, hits up off the chest of the goalkeeper, and then it ends up worming its way into the back of it, despite the goalie trying to claim that it wasn't over the line. It clearly was. So aye, our worst spell of the game brings the second goal for us with a Tillman with a 40-yard free kick. That's the two new signings that not a lot of people was excited about here on the channel, being the difference at that frickin' level. And again, people say, oh, he's lucky, he's this and that. No, people, that is nonsense. It's a football game. You can't score if you didn't shoot, people. And the fact that he's willing to do that, he deserves the rub of the green. And again, it wasn't just smacked at his chest, height level. No, there was a bit of thought put in it. He genuinely tried to bounce it and make it difficult. Again, he probably wasn't meaning to hit it right at him, but that was the thinking behind it. And again, it gets the rub of the green that way, and then we're 2-1 up, and you're thinking, right, let's just hold on to this. We're making a sub. Kamara's coming on for Stephen Davis, and then Scott Wright has came on for Tillman. Now, I know it will be easy to say in hindsight and everything like that, and that's obviously a thing, we've discussed that in the channel, but I promise you right now, when I seen those subs, because obviously the pandemonium and that, the goal, and everybody was excited, but it didn't excite me about the changes, and I was very, very nervous about them, especially Scott Wright coming onto the game of that magnitude, because again, to me, I think Scott Wright is going to be capable of doing things in the SPFL, and he's a danger and everything like that, but this is such a severe jump up in quality. When you've got Tillman up here to bring on Scott Wright, that is a significant drop backwards, and I thought you saw that. Again, I didn't want to be saying this, and I feel bad and that for saying it, but if I didn't sit here and tell you the truth, what's the point? Do you want me just to sit here and cheerlead and tell you what I think you want to hear? No, I didn't want to, ladies and gentlemen, but for me, Scott Wright stood out like a sore thumb this afternoon. At this level, there's such a distinguished jumping. He was nowhere near it, and for me, we lost everything doing that right hand side. Even the run that he had getting in behind, just ran into someone and fouled him. He does it all the time. He nearly forced a corner for halfway. He was trying to rattle a half volley back to McLaughlin, who does very well to stop it. One of his better saves in the game, by the way. And I'm not going to harp on it too long, but that's the big one for me. I think that was clearly wrong. I don't know what Rabbi done wrong at the weekend, maybe getting 2 assists. He was getting punished for it, but he stood out like a sore thumb, and he was just flopping all over the place, giving the ball away, and he has that moment later on in the game. But I'm jumping a little bit too far ahead, so let's pull it back there, because again, it's not just happening on Scott Wright. I also thought the Kamara one was a bit wrong, because at that point, I can understand bringing on a Jacko, right? If you want to be a wee bit more defensive astute because he can get back and he can track and he can put the ball in. But that's what we're asking Kamara today. And again, that's no his game at all. So I just thought we got it wrong. And I've praised Gio so much for his substitutions. But I can imagine if you asked him right now, he'd look back on that one and say, aye, I've whiffed that in. And it did in the game because we never offered nothing for the rest of the game, and that's a really, really sore point as well. We never had anybody to grab a game like a Jacko and defensively lock it down, and we never had nothing at all down the right hand side to get us out and everything like that as well. But again, the ghost of Daniel Cousins' goal versus Werder Bremen had us into the lead, and how did we respond to that? Again, no too great as the pressure started to come on. BB, I've got to give a wee shout out to Barisic. He's done a very good defensive header. And then a very good slide challenge that Sands whiffs and kicks this out for a corner. I think Barisic stops the corner, and this is a wee bit of breakdown, I think, with James Sands as he just whiffs at it and it ends up going out for a corner. And again, I felt it in the ticker, people, and that's Sayre, you know what I mean? I feel the same way when a team or the opposition would feel conceding a penalty. See, when we kick the ball out of a corner, I'm absolutely terrified, and the sad part is, I've said that in every game recap for I don't know how long, since we changed again from man to man with someone on the post to this zone on Malarkey and analytics. Oh, it tells me this in the stats. Does it? Look how many goals we're conceding. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. Does anybody understand what I'm talking about here, or am I just losing my freaking mind? But aye, the way the goal unfolds, by the way, it's a kind of cross in, and the big centre-half gets a free run at it. Again, the only one in the middle that's anywhere near attacking the ball is Connor Goldson, because we plant him in the middle and then have boys marking. It's honestly putrid. See, when I actually start to explain it, I feel physically ill. It's awful. I think Goldson, I don't know, again, he's getting told what to do and he's told to stand there and that, but get up there and header the ball when you're 100 feet tall. Get up there, big man. Sometimes just go and attack a ball, and aye, we never had anybody doing it in the box, and again, you reap what you sow. But again, the game was new over. It was now 2-2 in the 80th minute. How would we respond to it? Well, we responded by nearly conceding just 50 seconds later as the ball gets put in behind Tavernier, who gets caught out a position. He's piling forward to try and run. They end up nipping in behind him, but big John McLaughlin, thank you. You look like Alan frickin' McGregor for a brief wee second out there with that 1v1 save. How big could that save be? Could it be a Braga save? That's what it could potentially be by the time it's all said and done in the second leg. And the last talking point from the game of football is with 30 seconds, in fact less than 30 seconds left, we had worked the ball. Patient build-up play, really beautiful stuff. The ball went out to the right-hand side. We have got 4 or 5 bodies in the box just asking for a cross. Tavernier finds Scott Wright, who instead of whipping it in to where 5 people's in the box, he tries a no-look reverse pass outside it to Glenn Kamara and gives the ball away. That's the moments of quality I'm talking about. Again, I'm not want to harp on it and make it like harsh on the lad and everything, because I know what he is and everything like that, and I know he tries his absolute best, but that's just no good enough. If you want to make the Champions League, that there, it isn't good enough. You've got to put a ball in the frickin' box. I hope and I pray that we get to see Rabbi Matondo next week, because again, he's already showed in his last game that he's able and capable from those areas, grabbing 2 assists, and again, he's more direct and composed and a lot better on the football. But that'll be one that keeps me up the night, and that's what I'm going to be thinking about. What if we done this? And I guess that's what all games of football are. But again, it finished 2-2, and like I said numerous times in today's video, is it a fair result? Aye. Is it a bad result? Not necessarily, and despite me nitpicking some things and voicing my displeasure at a couple of things, it's not a bad result. Again, it's all still to play for, because it's now on them to go out there and play, because the game's still drawn right here. There's no away goals or anything like that, and again, they will always seem to find a way to concede. There will be chances in that game, especially when you have someone like a Cholak, who for me was absolutely standing this afternoon. So it's all set up and it's all to play for next week, and it all remains in the balance. But that's my thoughts and opinions on the game. What about you? Let me know down there in the comments section below. Again, I can't be too critical of too many things apart from the defending for set pieces, which is genuinely pathetic, and I thought the substitutions were wrong. If you want to hold on to a game, it's Jacko, no Kamara. Kamara, that's no really his game. If you want him to be a ball carrier, fair enough, but that's not really what we asked of him, and I would have rallied Matondo in there instead of Scotty Wright. But that's just my thoughts and opinions on the game. Now we shake it off and see what you've got to say down there in the comment section below. I'll try to get this video up before 1 or 2 in the morning, but it won't look likely. But until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I've been CJ992. We fight on next week. I'll see you there. Take care of yourselves. All the best and bye-bye.